Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the last video of the series. So I'm actually recording this in Melbourne right now because I didn't get around to recording it in our last day in India. So first things first, we actually left Kochi to last. We actually had 2 days over there as well. So we were just gonna, take things easy and check out some of the signature spots. So we've just arrived at our hotel in Kochi. It took us the longest time to get here, but we're finally here and we're so exhausted. This is really cute. Ooh. Well, it's just a bathroom and can't wait to sleep. Not a bad view, not the best, but not a bad view. Just came out to grab a quick dinner after our very tiring journey. It was absolutely disgusting. Thank you. And yeah, we found out that there's a Paragon over here, and since we'd been to Paragon once before already, even though the Google reviews for this one didn't seem so great, I figured whatever, we'll just come here, grab something to eat since we ended up skipping lunch over some shitty restaurant disagreement. And to come into World Trade Center, so this is called World Trade Center, it was right next to our hotel, but we had to do a big round to come around to the guest entry, and we had to actually sign in to a book and get a dinner gate pass, and I think we sign out after as well. It might just be me being a little bit homesick. I think I've just reached my peak. Because this morning, so we just grabbed breakfast at the hotel. It was a really fancy buffet. I definitely cheated a lot there. I ate vegetarian, but it was like a lot of white flour, a lot of cheap food. But then a lot of sweets, really. It was just, I'm like a major sweet tooth, so I just kind of went crazy. It wasn't that great, but like it was still like a fancy buffet, and it was really crowded because a lot of people, I guess, crashed here after the New Year's Eve party last night. Yeah, so we had breakfast at the hotel, and then we took a tuk-tuk to the hospital because apparently the doctor that I normally see, Dr. Madhu, was in today, so I didn't want to miss him. Just want to have a last minute conversation with him, ask why I have fluid build up in my lymph nodes or whatever it is that they call it, ask him what I should be doing to avoid it, etc. So we went across to the hospital. I don't know, I think another thing that has been frustrating me today is the difficulty to find a cab. How like Uber takes 15 minutes and then it never comes in 15 minutes, like it always increases and then suddenly cancels. I don't understand this whole Uber thing where if you cancel a ride, they deduct money off you, but then if they cancel a ride, like, well, it's just tough luck for us. So I really don't appreciate that. That's been really frustrating for me. Even Ola, which is like another Indian app, I was having trouble finding a cab, and even like tuk-tuks in Sri Lanka, the tuk-tuk system is very connected. Surprisingly, the one thing Sri Lanka is good at. I honestly thought India would be better, but it's been a bit disappointing how hard it is to find a tuk-tuk and how demanding they are. They never follow the meter. They always tell you like, all right, whatever's displayed on the meter, I'm meant to charge you double. That's just the rule here. That's just a government rule. So whatever that bullshit is, it was honestly just, and I was just so sick of people taking me on a ride. So I think I just kind of just lost it a little bit. Yeah, so we headed to the hospital, quickly saw the doctor, just confirmed a few things here and there. He reassured me and said that I just follow the medication and the diet and everything for 6 months, and if I feel like I could do with more help, like then to come back, but if not, then I should be fine for a few years. I've got like a lot of swelling all over my body, so it's not like can't walk swelling, but it's very uncomfortable to exist swelling. Yeah, what else? That's one thing that India definitely made me notice, is how bad my swellings were, because I thought I was just being weak, but then like it was interesting to see how many spots that I just had swellings at, and I was like, oh, that's not normal. That's why everything hurts all the time. So that's that. So after we saw the doctor, we decided to just drop by, see Joe for a bit, and my friend, like I have this I met this brother and sister. They're Canadian. Brother lives in Japan, something like that. I got really attached to especially the sister, but then the brother's also really nice guy, really inspirational, blah blah blah. So so decided to just drop into like the inpatient side and then catch up with our friends. And we had a quick conversation with them, and then we told them that we were going shopping. So Joe asked if he could come with us. So Joe, Mum and I headed to the mall in a tuk-tuk. Again, so hard to find a tuk-tuk. They're so demanding. They give you bullshit rates. You just have to kind of go with it. So we went in a tuk-tuk, got to the mall, and it was just such an effort. Like, it gets so crowded, and I'm just so done with crowds. Like, I think it's just so overwhelming, and I can't decide if it's the treatment that makes me hate crowds so much or if it's just me being antisocial. But I was just exhausted, so braved the crowd, did a little bit of shopping, and the amount of, I don't know, and then I had to go to the toilet, and it was just like a squatting toilet, and someone had peed all over the floor, and there was no toilet paper. It just, I don't know, I was just being really grumpy about everything. If, like I said, if this was like 2 weeks ago, I would have kept the most open mind, and I would say, oh my god guys, so cool, you got a squat to pee.
Mum and I did go out for a bit just to grab dinner. We went to this really cute place called 1947. Like, I just googled something close by that had like decent ratings and just went there. The food was really good, but we've been feeling so sick all day. Like, I couldn't go to bed last night. I had to keep waking up thinking that I was going to throw up. And I kind of wish I could just throw up so I can get on with the rest of my day. And I really hope we don't throw up on the flight, and instead we get to throw up sometime before that. But the food was amazing, honestly. But unfortunately, like, when I went home, I was unable to sleep. Like, honestly, I think I woke up about 5 times in the middle of the night, just feeling like I wanted to throw up, but I couldn't. And then the next morning, after really shitty sleep, I still woke up feeling really bad, like really crappy. It was one of those things where I hoped that sleeping would make it go away, but it didn't. So I woke up the next day, and then like when I went downstairs for like the buffet breakfast, I was really looking forward to getting pancakes with like chocolate syrup and stuff like that, but I just could not think of food at all. And I'm not usually that kind of person. I'm usually always thinking about my next meal. So I just went down and had I did fill up some food on my plate just for the sake of it, but I barely finished it either. I put like really bad foods, but I still could barely finish it. And that's when I found out that Mum was also feeling really shitty. So and then we were just kind of like, oh, that's really weird, let's get on with our day. So we headed towards the Fort Kochi area, and we drove past the Chinese fishing nets, stopped at Fort Kochi for a bit. But honestly, we were just kind of dragging our feet around because we just felt so sick. So initially we thought we were like food poisoned or something, but we just couldn't bring ourselves to eat or drink anything at all. We couldn't go to the toilet. We just couldn't like get rid of the food in our system, nor could we just like add more stuff to it. Like, at one point we were just forcing ourselves to eat in hopes that would make us go to the toilet. Like, it was really bad. And then after that, so we just kind of walked around Fort Kochi for a bit, and we forced ourselves to go to Martin Cherry Palace. But once we got to Martin Cherry Palace, like, my legs really hurt, and I was like, Mum was also feeling super sick, so we just sat outside for a bit, lazed around, hoping that we would feel better. And the unfortunate thing is we also checked out of the hotel thinking like, oh, by the time we're done and we come back, it's going to be time to go to the airport. So we actually checked out of the hotel and asked them to just keep our bags in the baggage drop. So we didn't even have like a place to come back to. So even though we were feeling really sick, we were just kind of sitting around because we didn't have anything else to do. So we kind of just sat around Martin Cherry Palace, finally went inside, forced ourselves to look around. I can't really say I enjoyed it, just on the basis that we felt so sick. And eventually, like, honestly, I felt so bad for Mum as well. Like, we did walk past Jewtown a little bit. We got into a tuk-tuk and we asked the guy to take us to the closest shopping mall. So as soon as we got in the tuk-tuk and asked the guy to drive us there, like, I was already regretting like wasting a day and like not being able to look around. But I stopped at one point at the ATM, and when I got out of the tuk-tuk to go to withdraw money, I felt like so faint, and I was like, I'm so glad that we left and like we're going to a place that's less crowded. We didn't know where to go. We kind of killed a little bit of time in the Dutch Palace, but then it was really crowded, didn't really know where to go from there. So I just decided to look up the closest Macca's because I low-key just want ice cream or something because we feel like we should eat, but we're not hungry. And the closest Macca's was like 35 minutes away in this mall that's called Center Square Mall. It's much smaller than Lulu, but it's also much less crowded. Personally, I think I prefer it a lot more. It's also cooler and it's less confusing with the number of entries and exit points. But definitely because it's much less crowded. So we came down to Center Point Mall and we're just kind of sitting on the stairs over there. Just killing time. We were meant to go for the Kathakali dance, but honestly, every time I regret leaving Fort Kochi, when I stand up for a second, I'm like, oh, thank God I left. Like, I just don't feel so great at all. So we considered going back to the hotel, but we'd already checked out, even though he extended my checkout time. I really regret checking out early, considering the fact that he let us check out at 4 o'clock. So I guess we're just like sitting around waiting until it's time to go back to the hotel and then head to the airport. So we'll see how we go. And I don't think we'll go Kathakali because I'm just not feeling it. I threw away that ice cream like after a few bites. We kind of just fell asleep in the prayer room and we were just kind of sitting around over there, but we still felt no good at all. Honestly, we had nothing all day. And but at least I had like the ice cream and stuff. Mum had nothing at all. So we went upstairs, got ourselves a juice, still couldn't drink it. And we stopped at a supermarket and we got, I think it's Enzo. I think we got Enzo or something like that. And I was like, you know what, let's just head back to the hotel and let's just sit at the foyer until it's time for our Uber to get there. So we unfortunately cancelled Kathakali. I was so sad, but honestly, there was no way that I could have, I could not have found the energy for it. So it was really, in a way, it was actually good for us. So we got to the hotel and we were just kind of sitting around. I took my Enzo and I just could not, honestly, it was so restricting because we felt so sick, but we couldn't go to the toilet, so we couldn't let anything out of our systems and we couldn't put anything in our systems. So we just felt really terrible. So Mum tried to go like pretty much puke her food out, but she couldn't. And then I tried a few times, but then finally I ended up sitting on the toilet floor for about 45 minutes, throwing up, and I could literally feel the food that I'd eaten 3 days ago also come out. It was disgusting. And I just kept going. So every time I'd vomit, I'd stop for 3 seconds and then I'd keep vomiting. And I'm no joke, I was sitting there for 45 minutes. It was so bad. It was terrible. And Mom came and checked in on me and I'm like, don't worry about it, just go away. I've still got to throw up. So I finally came out. I felt slightly better. But then Mum forced me to also buy this chocolate cake from the cafe, and she was she pretty much just wanted me to eat. It wasn't she wasn't trying to give me healthy food or food that would she was just you need to put something in your system, you need some fuel in your system, because my mom's the kind of she just strongly believes that I don't feed myself enough. So she was just trying to put something that I would eat wholeheartedly. So she just bought me this slice of chocolate cake and this green tea. Firstly, that green tea was 400 rupees and the cake, this huge slice of cake, was 200 bucks. The pricing did not make sense, but it was what it was. And that's $8 for green tea. But anyway, regardless, our Uber driver came along and then, we loaded our taxis in the suitcases in the taxi, headed to the airport. And then unfortunately, Mum was actually starting to feel much worse. And I'd never been in this situation before where she'd looked we've never been in a situation where she'd looked so sick. So honestly, once we'd dropped our packages and stuff and we were going to clear security, Mum did not look good at all. So I was look, do you think we should ask for medical assistance? We've got travel insurance. Honestly, I wanted to get out of there, because it was such a bad day, and, I think we'd done our time, and I was just feeling, really homesick and stuff. So I was I kind of do want to get out of there, but we can't fly with Mum looking like this. So I was do you need medical assistance? Mum's usually the type to be no, I'm fine, don't worry about it, I'll be fine. She's the type to soldier on, but instead she was yeah, actually, that'll be good. So we asked for medical assistance, and then they made us wait for a bit.
And then they came and got us, took us to like the hospital clinic. I didn't complain. Like, I think the focus at this point was mum, because she had not thrown up and she had not gone to the toilet. She hadn't eaten all day. So, and she just looked completely terrible. So they gave her like an injection, and they gave her like, I think they gave her an injection and some tablets and stuff. We did quickly call Ayurvedic, which was thankfully open at night, just to find out if it was okay for her to have that. And they said it was. If you think you're fit to fly, just go for it, but don't like tell them that you feel good. So mum was like, you know what, I think I'll be fine. And then we got on the flight. She was bad the whole flight. She didn't eat anything on the flight either. They actually put her on a wheelchair to wheel her to the flight itself because she couldn't move at all. And so, as you can understand, that's why I didn't actually record a video at the time. Yeah, and then we got to Malaysia. She was still kind of feeling sick. Went out, bought her juice. She did barely drank that. Got back to Melbourne. Again, we needed to be on a buggy to get out of there because mum still felt no good and she hadn't eaten for about 48 hours at this point. But, you know, once we came home, somehow, you know, that was the medicine she needed, because suddenly she was okay. I think it was a bit unfortunate. Like, I don't even know if it was food poisoning. We did ask the guy at the clinic in the airport if it was food poisoning, and he said if it was food poisoning, you'd be throwing up and going to the toilet. So I don't think it's food poisoning. So it might be just the amount of foreign items we'd eaten since having a very strict diet at Ayurvedic. Actually, when you're at Ayurvedic and you're eating that food, you don't feel like you're on a strict restrictive sort of diet. But I guess when you start going out and eating like for 3 consecutive days, it was pretty bad. Like, honestly, I can't even describe how crap we felt on the day. Like, I am not the kind of person who would say no to chocolate, to snacks, to ice cream, but suddenly I couldn't even look at it. Like, it was so bad. So it's now been a month and a half since I've been back in Melbourne, and in terms of how I feel, I would say there's a lot of days where I feel much better than I did before, and there are some days where I feel about the same as I did before. So I don't feel worse, but I either feel better or the same. In terms of fatigue, like, my fatigue has severely reduced. Like, I can't even describe. Like, sometimes I'm just walking around going like, I can't believe I felt worse than this before. It's unbelievable. But I do have bouts of fatigue, and that, you know, is something I'm like, you know what, it'll take some time. So that's one thing. In terms of like my burping, the amount of gas, the amount of intestinal pain, tummy pain, tummy cramps, that's like pretty much all gone. Like, maybe like every couple of days, or depending on like some random food I eat. Before, like, no matter what I eat, I always had like gastrointestinal pains, whereas now it's like only for specific foods. I'm going to the toilet much more regularly. Actually, none of the medicines they gave me had laxative effects, so it's surprising to me to be going to the toilet and actually letting go of my waste, and it's making a huge difference in terms of gastrointestinal symptoms. The symptoms that are quite worrying for me still is, unfortunately, I'm still having a lot of, I guess, joint pain. So like in my arm, like my forearm, and like my neck, my shoulders, my hips, sometimes my back, but mostly my legs. So that problem is still there, and I'm still continuing daily massages. I have been vegetarian pretty much like since I've been back. I do have 2 cheat meals a week, and the 2 cheat meals a week, I try to keep it white meat, but sometimes I do, like, you know, have red meat or something a little bit more heavy. I have been taking my medication, and everything's pretty much just the same. I have also called back Ayurvedic just to double check to see if my leg pain is something concerning. Having said that, like I said to you in a couple of videos, you are in charge of your own health. I do have complete faith in Ayurveda, and I do believe that it is definitely going to help me, but I'm not going to be an idiot about it. Like, my leg pain's been really bad, so I have gone to a Western doctor and had a bunch of tests taken, and I'll be discussing the results with him tomorrow. If anything comes of it, I will chuck that in the edit over here, but if not, then I'm just going to go back to waiting for Ayurveda to do its magic, and yeah, that's that. So thank you guys for tuning in with me on this journey of mine. It's been really great. Like, you know what, sappy goodbyes, but thank you so much. And I am considering starting a new series where I look at like Ayurvedic cooking, food that are suitable for your dosha, things like that. It is something that I am also experimenting with, so it'll be more like a journey as opposed to me giving you health and medical advice. But yeah, we'll see how we go. But like I said, thank you guys again. It's been really great to share with you guys my experience and to receive feedback. Yeah, so see you guys later, and good luck on your healing.